So the whole structure of the living has a lot of implications about the way that they lived and the differences between how they live and how we live. For instance, take this thing that I studied economics. So the basic assumption of economics is that people always want more. This is Adam Smith, right? This is it. Otherwise, economy wouldn't move. But if you look around, you see that there is need for a lot of advertising to entice us to consume more. Otherwise, there wouldn't be advertising. And a lot of fashion. The whole thing is fashion. What is fashion? Fashion is a mechanism that entices us to buy more because it changes, right? So your car now is out of fashion. It used to be that your clothes were out of fashion. So this is like a $50 expense. But the car, which is what, I don't know, $10,000, $20,000, $1,000 expense, also getting out of fashion. So furniture is fashion. So without this fashion and without this advertising, I'm not sure that people would have wanted more, that much. So you live in a society that is completely different than your core, the basic setup that your genes provide.
Yeah, it's absolutely astounding. You mentioned implications, and boy, are there some crazy implications when you really sit down and think about this. You're right, like with the capitalist society, we need to have advertising so that you go out and buy more and more and more stuff. The stuff accumulates, you have no place to put it, so it just, you need bigger houses, you need bigger cars, you need storage spaces around where I live are huge. So people rent other garages to stick more of their stuff that they don't even hardly see or use or get any utility out of. It's pretty remarkable. And you think about, like, okay, if I'm in a hunter-gatherer society and I'm living off the land, it's like you said, I'm only taking what the land is giving me. I don't want any more. I don't need any more. It makes the most sense to grab an animal, share it with these people, because today I might have got a deer. Tomorrow you might get something else that you would then share with me. And the whole society thrives. There's no need for religion. There's no need for land grabs. There's no need to protect those things you talked about, like accumulating stuff. If I'm accumulating something, I now have I've got something that I have to protect. And so I need a government to distribute it. I need soldiers to fight over it. Like all of what we think of as civilization all goes back to that one message. We are so different than we used to be.
Yeah. Take another thing. For instance, the hunter-gatherer wakes up in the morning and he goes hunting, and he's successful or unsuccessful, probably successful sometimes. So he finished the job. He's got his prey. He brings it to the tent, to the camp. Everybody is happy, and that's it. Today, there are no such projects. I mean, a project today takes years. Or sometimes when you work in a factory, you don't even see the final product. You just work every day. You produce a part of a product, and you don't even see what the product is. And you don't have the feeling that you produce something that's used by the community. You don't get the feedback from the community about what you produce for them. The maximum that you get is you get the feedback from the family when you bring the salary once a month. And that's another thing. Today, the group that you relate to is large and small. In other words, it's small because it's a family compared to a group, band of 20 people or so. But it's also too large, because now you are involved in the life of the entire world. Okay, because if you don't, if you keep using plastics, the world will do that, and if you keep using fuel, the world will be that. So now you have all the world on your shoulders as well. So it's completely different. So there's so many sources of stress that we have today that hunter-gatherers didn't have, that I must tell you that I'm in awe of our ability to actually function in an environment that is so completely different.
Wow. It is crazy to contemplate that we have changed so much, but yeah, we are still able to, live in this completely modified environment. I'm thinking, like, during the pandemic, I really got sucked into the news cycle and learning about what was going on around the world, and, the case counts in India, or, the political unrest at the Capitol. And it gets so overwhelming. It really affected my life, and my anxiety was way higher. And every time I just walked outside my neighborhood that I've been in for many, many years, and I've gotten to know this one place, everything is fine. You get to know the birds and the ducks and the way the plants change during the different seasons and the weather patterns. You get so much more in tune to that. But then if you pay attention to this news cycle, you get completely overloaded and stressed out about things that might be important but will never impact your life.
Yeah, and you will not have any way of influencing. I mean, look, in Israel, we live in the politics is much more, it has much more effect on your life, on your real life. You either have a war or you don't have a war, or you have peace or you don't have peace. So everything is much more, how should I say, intensive. Yeah. But then again, what can you do? There's not much you can do. You can you vote once in theory, every 4 years, but we have like elections every year now. But so that's it. You go, you vote. All the rest of the time, you just spend, criticizing and trying to convince your friends about one thing or the other. And that won't help either, because they can do nothing. So yeah, you spend a lot of time agonizing about things that you cannot do anything about. And right. That doesn't happen in hunter-gatherer societies.
Wow. Do they have any concept of time the way that we think of time?
That's another thing. Yeah, they have different concept. They don't really, they're not stressed about time. They don't measure time. By the way, that hunter-gatherers don't have numbers above 4. Sometimes even 2.
Wow.
Because they don't count. They don't count. They don't say, I saw 15 gnu over there. They say many. There are many gnus. And that's it. And same goes for time. They don't really, it was long ago, and that's it. They don't care whether it was months ago, 2 months ago, a week ago. No, it's long ago, long time ago. So they're so relaxed. I mean, once you had your prey and you're eating, there are no worries. You don't need to worry. You don't pay tax. There's nothing to worry about. These are happy people. And I goes into that in the book, all the reports that people who met them reported, all the Westerners were surprised how happy they are. They were happy. Weston Price is good. Have you read the book?
Absolutely, so good.
Yeah. So here he describes them. He describes all these tribes and how healthy they are and how happy they are and how wholesome they are, and that there's no crime, and that's it. And this is what we evolved to live. This is the life that we evolved to live. And today we live in completely different circumstances.